There is a moment when you open your bank account, stare at the number, and realize you have been lied to your entire life. The mortgage, the car payment, the credit card debt, the retirement plan that won't retire you until you're too old to enjoy it. You look at your parents who worked 40 years and have nothing. You look at your friends who are one paycheck from collapse. You look at the system and you realize no one is going to teach you how money actually works. No one is going to hand you the map. The school didn't teach you. The government won't tell you. Your boss is actively hiding it from you, because if you knew, you would leave. For 99% of people, this realization triggers paralysis. They feel trapped. They feel like victims of an unfair system. They complain about billionaires while buying lottery tickets. They rage against capitalism while financing a pickup truck at 18% interest. They want the rules to change instead of learning to play the game that already exists. They want someone to save them. They want socialism to redistribute the wealth. They want a revolution. They want anything except to take responsibility for their own financial ignorance. But for the 1%, the architects, the Machiavellians, this moment is not despair. It is clarity. It is the baptism. It is the moment you realize that poverty is not something that happens to you. It is something you participate in through your choices, your beliefs, your compliance with a system designed to extract your labor and leave you with nothing. You are watching this because you feel it. You feel the gap between what you were told money is and what money actually is. You were told to work hard and save. You did. You're still broke. You were told to go to college and get a good job. You did. You're still in debt. You were told to invest in your 401k. You did. It won't be enough. You ran the program perfectly, and the program failed you. Not because you did something wrong, but because the program was designed to fail. You are tired of the fairy tales. You are tired of financial advice designed to keep you comfortable, which really means compliant. You are tired of Dave Ramsey telling you to cut up your credit cards while billionaires leverage debt to buy empires. Stop being compliant. I'm going to give you the 9 money rules the rich hide from you. Not because they are secret, but because they are so ruthlessly simple that if everyone followed them, the game would collapse. These are not tips. These are not hacks. These are fundamental laws of wealth that have been operating since the Medici bankers financed the Renaissance, since Rockefeller created the oil monopoly, since Rothschild built a banking empire that financed nations. But be warned, we are going to perform surgery on your relationship with money. We have to kill the part of you that thinks being broke is noble. We have to destroy the programming that says wanting wealth is greedy. We have to cut out the infection of poverty consciousness that was implanted in you by teachers who were broke, parents who were broke, and a culture that celebrates struggle while mocking success. If you still believe that money is the root of all evil, turn this off. Go back to your budget spreadsheet. Keep clipping coupons. But if you are ready to understand why the rich get richer and you stay the same, listen closely. Rule 1. You don't get paid for hours. You get paid for value. Let's dismantle the biggest lie first. You are taught that work equals money. Put in your time, get your paycheck. 40 hours a week, 50 weeks a year, 40 years of your life. This is wage slavery dressed up as virtue. They gave it a name, career. They gave you a ladder to climb. They gave you annual reviews and 3% raises. They made you feel like you were progressing, when really you were running on a treadmill, burning energy, going nowhere. The rich understand something you don't. Money is not a reward for suffering. Money is a receipt for value delivered. A surgeon makes more than a cashier, not because the surgeon works harder, but because the surgeon delivers more value per unit of time. The market doesn't care about your effort. It cares about results. You can dig a hole with a spoon for 16 hours a day, and no one will pay you what they'll pay the man with the excavator, who does it in 20 minutes. The market is not measuring your sweat. It is measuring the size of the hole. Machiavelli wrote, "The first method for estimating the intelligence of a ruler is to look at the men he has around him." The same applies to wealth. The first method for estimating your future net worth is to look at how you value your time. If you are selling hours, you are selling a depleting resource. You only have so many hours. You will run out. You will get old. You will get tired. Your body will break down. The rich sell systems. They sell leverage. They sell things that scale. One video reaches 1 million people. One product sells while you sleep. One investment compounds while you eat. This is leverage. This is how you break the time for money equation. You must exit the hour for dollar trap. This is not optional. As long as you are paid for time, you are capped. Even if you are a high-paid consultant billing $500 an hour, you are capped at maybe $200,000 a year. That sounds like a lot, until you realize a mediocre online course creator can make that in a month by selling a $997 product to 200 people. Same value delivered, different mechanism. One scales, one doesn't. The shift is psychological. Stop asking, how many hours did I work? Start asking, how much value did I create? If you spent 8 hours organizing files that no one will ever look at, you created 0 value. If you spent 30 minutes writing an email that closed a $50,000 deal, you created massive value. The market will pay you accordingly, but only if you position yourself to capture it. Rule 2. Equity beats salary. Always. Your salary is your owner's charity. Let me say that again. Your salary is your owner's charity. They pay you the minimum required to keep you from quitting while extracting the maximum value from your labor. This is not evil. This is economics. If you generate $500,000 in value for a company and they pay you $60,000, they just made $440,000 off you. You are not an employee. You are a profit center for someone else. The rich do not work for salaries. They work for equity. Equity is ownership. Ownership is where generational wealth is built. Bezos didn't get rich from his Amazon salary. His salary was $81,840 per year for decades. He got rich because he owned Amazon. When Amazon stock went from $1 to $3,000, his net worth went from millions to hundreds of billions. Not from working harder, from owning. Zuckerberg didn't get rich from a paycheck. He got rich because he owned Facebook. When Facebook went public, his ownership stake was worth $19 billion. He was 28 years old. He didn't work 1 billion hours. He owned the right asset at the right time. Every billionaire you know is rich because they own assets that appreciate. Elon Musk doesn't take a salary from Tesla. He owns Tesla. His wealth is tied to the stock price. When Tesla stock goes up, he makes more in a day than you will make in your lifetime. Not because he worked harder that day, because he owns. You need to own something. It doesn't have to be a company. It can be real estate. It can be intellectual property. It can be a portfolio of stocks. It can be a digital asset. But you must own. If you own nothing, you are a serf. You are renting your existence from landlords, from banks, from corporations. They own. You owe. Machiavelli said, "Men are driven by 2 principal impulses, either by love or by fear. The system runs on your fear. Fear of being fired, fear of missing a payment, fear of not having health insurance. That fear keeps you obedient. It keeps you showing up to a job that will replace you the day after your funeral. The only antidote to fear is ownership. When you own, you control. When you control, you are free. You must shift every dollar you can from consumption to acquisition. Stop buying liabilities. A new car is not an asset. It is a liability that loses value the second you drive it off the lot. You just paid $40,000 for something that is now worth $32,000. You lost $8,000 in 10 minutes. Buy assets. Buy things that pay you. Real estate that generates rent. Stocks that pay dividends. Businesses that generate cash flow. Every dollar you spend on something that doesn't make you money is a dollar you just handed to someone who will use it to buy something that makes them money. You are funding their wealth while staying broke. Rule 3. Debt is a weapon. Use it like one. You were taught that debt is bad. Stay out of debt. Pay off your credit cards. Be debt-free. This is advice for children. This is advice designed to keep you small. Debt is a tool. In the hands of the poor, it is a noose. In the hands of the rich, it is a lever. The rich use debt to buy assets. The poor use debt to buy liabilities. If you finance a jet ski, you are an idiot. You are paying interest on something that loses value and generates zero income. If you finance an apartment building that cash flows $10,000 a month, you are a genius. Same mechanism, different outcome. The difference is intent. The system wants you afraid of debt, so you never use it to build wealth. They want you saving your pennies in a checking account, earning 0.01% interest, while inflation eats your purchasing power at 3% per year. You are getting poorer every day you save cash. Meanwhile, the rich are borrowing at 4% to invest in assets that return 12%. They are using your deposited money, the money you saved like a good citizen, to get richer. The bank pays you nothing. The bank lends your money to someone else at 6%. That someone else buys an asset that appreciates at 10%. You got robbed, and you said thank you. In 2008, during the financial crisis, everyone panicked. The stock market crashed. Real estate crashed. People were selling everything. The rich were buying. Warren Buffett invested $5 billion in Goldman Sachs. He got a 10% dividend plus warrants to buy stock. He made billions. Not because he was lucky, because he had cash when everyone else was broke, and he had the courage to deploy it when everyone else was afraid. You need to learn how to borrow intelligently. Borrow to buy things that produce income. Borrow to buy things that appreciate. Never borrow to buy things that depreciate or that you consume. A mortgage on a rental property that someone else pays off for you while you gain equity? Good debt. You put down $50,000. You borrow $200,000. You now control a $250,000 asset. If it appreciates 5% per year, you gain $12,500 in equity. That's a 25% return on your $50,000. You just used leverage to multiply your return. Machiavelli wrote, "Whosoever desires constant success must change his conduct with the times." The times have changed. Your grandfather could save his way to wealth. That door is closed. Wages are stagnant. Asset prices are inflated. You cannot save your way to wealth anymore. You must use leverage. Rule 4. Tax laws are written by the rich, for the rich. You pay more in taxes than a billionaire. This is not a conspiracy theory. This is a fact. Warren Buffett famously said his secretary pays a higher tax rate than he does. He said this to Congress, on camera. No one did anything about it. Why? Because the people writing the tax laws are funded by the people who benefit from the tax laws. The tax code is not designed to tax wealth. It is designed to tax income. Specifically, W-2 wage income. If you work a job, you are taxed on every dollar before you even see it. The government takes their cut. By the time the money hits your account, 30% is gone. You have no control. You have no deductions. You just bend over and take it. The rich structure their lives to minimize taxable income. They earn through capital gains, taxed at 15% or 20%. Your W-2 income is taxed at 24%, 32% or 37%. Same money, different tax rate. Why? Because the government wants to incentivize investment. They reward investors and punish workers. The rich earn through businesses, which allow them to deduct expenses. They drive a car? Business expense. They travel? Business expense. They have a home office? Deduction. They take clients to dinner? Deduction. They are playing a different game with different rules. Let me tell you about a real estate investor I know. He makes $500,000 a year from rental income. On paper, he pays almost zero in taxes. How? Depreciation. The IRS allows you to depreciate real estate over 27.5 years. So if you own a $275,000 rental property, you can deduct $10,000 per year in depreciation, even if the property is actually appreciating. This is a paper loss. It reduces your taxable income. He has 10 properties. That's $100,000 in paper losses. Then he deducts mortgage interest, property taxes, repairs. His effective tax rate is lower than a teacher making $60,000. Is this illegal? No. Is this fair? Depends on who you ask. Is this smart? Absolutely. The government created these loopholes intentionally to incentivize behavior. You must change your tax profile. This means you need to own something. A business, an LLC, a rental property. Hire an accountant who works for rich people. Not H&R Block, not TurboTax. A real CPA who understands how to structure entities, how to defer taxes, how to take advantage of legal strategies. This will cost you money up front. It will save you tens of thousands on the back end. Every dollar you save in taxes is a dollar you can reinvest into assets. Compounded over a lifetime, this is the difference between comfortable and wealthy. Rule 5. Your network is not for friendship. It's for leverage. You are told to network. Go to events. Make friends. Build relationships. This is half true. The rich do network, but not for the reasons you think. They are not looking for friends. They are looking for leverage. Machiavelli said, "The promise given was a necessity of the past. The word broken is a necessity of the present." Relationships are transactional. This sounds cold. It is, but it is also reality. The people in your life either add value or extract it. There is no neutral. The rich curate their circles ruthlessly. They do not keep people around out of nostalgia or obligation. They keep people around who are useful. You need to do the same. Look at your phone. Scroll through your contacts. Ask yourself, who in this list can help me get where I want to go? If the answer is no one, you are in the wrong rooms. You need to be in rooms where you are the least successful person, where you are uncomfortable, where you have to level up just to keep pace. Your childhood friends who are still working retail and smoking weed every night. They are not your network. They are your anchor. They will keep you at their level because your success makes them uncomfortable. You must be willing to outgrow people. This is not cruelty. This is survival. The rich understand that proximity is power. If you are around millionaires, you start to think like a millionaire. If you are around broke people, you stay broke. You absorb their limiting beliefs, their excuses, their poverty mindset. Jim Rohn said, "You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with." Look at your 5 people. What is their average net worth? That is your future. If you don't like it, change your 5 people. And when you do build relationships, make sure you bring value. Do not be the person who only takes. Be the person who solves problems. Be the person who makes introductions. Be the person who shows up with solutions. You are adding value first. Then, when you need something, you have equity to spend. Rule 6. Cash flow is oxygen. Profit is a luxury. You think the goal is profit. It is not. The goal is cash flow. Profit is an accounting number. It can be manipulated. Cash flow is reality. Cash flow is whether or not you can pay your rent, your employees, your suppliers. Cash flow is whether you eat or starve. A business can be profitable on paper and still go bankrupt if it runs out of cash. You make a big sale. You record the revenue, but the client pays you in 90 days. Meanwhile, you have payroll in 2 weeks. You don't have cash. You are profitable and dead. The rich obsess over cash flow. They structure deals to get paid up front. They negotiate net 30 terms with suppliers and net 15 terms with customers. They keep reserves. 6 months of operating expenses in cash, minimum. They do not spend every dollar they make because they understand that cash is a weapon. Cash gives you options. A market crashes and you can buy stocks at a discount. A real estate deal comes up and you can close in cash. Cash is power. Cash is freedom. The poor spend every dollar and then some. They live paycheck to paycheck, even when they make 6 figures. Why? Because they confuse income with wealth. High income does not mean wealthy. You can make $500,000 a year and be broke if you spend $600,000. This is called being rich broke. You look successful, but you are one missed commission away from collapse. The rich live below their means, not because they are cheap, but because they are strategic. Every dollar saved is a dollar that can be deployed into an asset that generates more dollars. You take $100,000 and you invest it in rental real estate. It generates $10,000 per year in cash flow. You reinvest that $10,000. You keep compounding. In 10 years, you have $250,000 generating $25,000 per year. You didn't work harder. You let money work for you. You must track your cash flow religiously. Know exactly how much is coming in. Know exactly how much is going out. If you do not know, you do not control it. And if you do not control it, it controls you. Rule 7. Fear sells. Greed buys. The market is driven by 2 emotions, fear and greed. The rich understand this. They sell when everyone is greedy. They buy when everyone is afraid. You do the opposite. When the market crashes, you panic. You sell your stocks at a loss. The rich are buying. They know the market will recover. It always does. When the market is booming, you finally feel confident. You buy at the peak because you do not want to miss out. The rich are selling. They are taking profits while you are buying their bags. You are always late, always wrong. Why? Because you are emotional. The rich are not. They are calculating. Machiavelli wrote, "The lion cannot protect himself from traps, and the fox cannot defend himself from wolves." One must therefore be a fox to recognize traps, and a lion to frighten wolves. You need to be both. You need to recognize the traps of emotional investing, and you need the courage to act when everyone else is frozen. This requires you to detach. You cannot be emotionally invested in your investments. When the portfolio goes down, you do not feel fear. You feel curiosity. Is this a buying opportunity? When the portfolio goes up, you do not feel greed. You feel suspicion. Is this overvalued? Should I take profits? This level of emotional control is rare. It is why most people lose money in the market and the rich get richer. The average investor underperforms the market by 4% per year. Why? Because they buy high and sell low. They chase performance. They panic during crashes. The rich also create fear to buy low. They spread narratives. They go on television and say, "I'm very concerned about the economy." The herd panics. Prices drop. The rich swoop in. Then they spread optimism. The herd buys. Prices rise. The rich sell. You are the exit liquidity. Unless you learn to think like they do. Unless you learn to move opposite the crowd. Warren Buffett said, "Be fearful when others are greedy, and greedy when others are fearful." This is how he made $100 billion. He buys when everyone is selling. He sells when everyone is buying. Rule 8. Diversification is for people who don't know what they're doing. You are told to diversify. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. This is advice for people who are trying not to lose. The rich are trying to win. Warren Buffett said, "Diversification is protection against ignorance. It makes little sense if you know what you are doing. If you know what you are doing, you concentrate. You go all in on the best opportunity. You do not spread yourself thin across mediocre investments. You find the one thing that has the highest probability of asymmetric return, and you pour gasoline on it." Bezos went all in on Amazon. Musk went all in on Tesla and SpaceX. He put his entire net worth from selling PayPal into these companies. He was nearly bankrupt multiple times. He didn't diversify. He doubled down. Every billionaire you can name made their wealth by concentrating, not diversifying. Diversification is a strategy for preservation, not accumulation. If you already have $50 million and you want to make sure you do not lose it, fine, diversify. But if you have $50,000 and you want to turn it into $5 million, diversification will keep you poor. You will get average returns. Average returns will not change your life. You need asymmetric returns. 10 times, 100 times. This only happens when you concentrate. In 2010, Bitcoin was $1. If you bought $1,000 worth, you had 1,000 Bitcoin. If you held until 2021, those 1,000 Bitcoin were worth $60 million. That is a 60,000 times return. Life-changing wealth. But you had to concentrate. You had to be willing to put $1,000 into something that could go to zero. Find your asymmetric bet. Find the thing that you understand better than anyone else. And when you find it, concentrate. Do not sprinkle a little bit of money on it. Go all in. Rule 9. The game is rigged. Play anyway. This is the rule they really do not want you to know. The game is rigged. It has always been rigged. It will always be rigged. The Federal Reserve prints money and gives it to banks. The banks lend it to the rich at low rates. The rich buy assets. The assets appreciate because there is more money in the system. The poor, who hold cash, get poorer because their purchasing power is diluted. This is not a bug. It is a feature. The system is designed to transfer wealth from the bottom to the top. You can complain about this, you can protest, you can vote, or you can accept it and learn to play the rigged game better than the people who rigged it. Machiavelli said, "Since it is difficult to join them together, it is safer to be feared than to be loved when one of the two must be lacking." The system does not love you. It will not save you. You must make it fear you. You make it fear you by becoming so competent, so valuable, so wealthy, that you can no longer be ignored. You stop being a pawn. You become a player. The rich are not fighting the system. They are using it. They are using the tax code. They are using the financial system. They are using the legal system. All of it is rigged in their favor because they paid to rig it. You think this is unfair. It is. Now what? You can sit in your unfairness and rot, or you can accept that the game is rigged and decide to win anyway. You can learn the rules they are using. You can hire the same accountants, the same lawyers, the same advisors. The information is not secret. It is just ignored. If you are still broke after learning these 9 rules, you are not unlucky. You are just refusing to play. You are standing on the sidelines saying, "This isn't fair." You are right. It is not fair. But the game continues with or without you. The only question is, are you going to get yours, or are you going to watch from the sidelines and complain? Now let's go darker. You have been conditioned to hate the rich. You have been told they are greedy, they are selfish, they exploited people. Some of that is true. But what you have not been told is that the reason you were taught to hate them is to keep you from becoming them. If you hate the rich, you will never study them. You will never model them. You will never become them. This is psychological warfare. The system needs workers. It needs consumers. It needs people who trade their time for money and then spend that money on things that lose value. If everyone became wealthy, who would work the factories? Who would serve the food? The system needs you to stay in your lane. So it gave you a religion of poverty. It told you that being humble is noble, that wanting more is greedy, that rich people are bad. And you believed it. You internalized it. Now you sabotage yourself every time you get close to success. You feel guilty. You feel like you are betraying your roots. This is the shadow. Carl Jung wrote about this. The parts of yourself you repress do not disappear. They fester. They sabotage you from the inside. You want to be rich, but you believe being rich is evil. So you unconsciously sabotage yourself. You must integrate your shadow. You must accept that wanting wealth is not evil. It is human. You must accept that competition is not cruelty. It is nature. The lion does not apologize for eating the gazelle. The market is a jungle. You're either predator or prey. If you choose to be prey because it feels more moral, fine. But do not complain when you get eaten. You need to enter the money ghost phase. This is where you stop talking about your financial goals. You stop telling people you are trying to get rich. You go silent. Why? Because most people are crabs in a bucket. When one crab tries to climb out, the others pull it back down. Your friends, your family, they do not want you to be rich. Not because they hate you, but because your success is a mirror that reflects their failure. They will discourage you. They will call you obsessed. They will call you greedy. Let them. You are not building wealth for their approval. You are building it for your freedom. In the ghost phase, you work in silence. You buy assets quietly. You increase your income without fanfare. You become wealthy before anyone notices. Then, when you emerge, you are untouchable. They cannot stop you because you already won. This is the Machiavellian move. You do not announce your plans. You strike when you are ready, not when they expect it. Let me tell you what happens when you actually follow these rules. Something shifts. Not just in your bank account. Something shifts in your psychology. You start to see the matrix. You walk into a store and you see people buying things they don't need with money they don't have. You see the trap. You see the hamster wheel. You used to be on that wheel. Now you see it from the outside. You listen to your coworkers complain about money, and you realize they are complaining about a problem they are actively creating. They make $70,000 and spend $75,000 and then blame the economy. You used to be like them. Now you see through it. This is the awakening. This is what the 9 rules give you. They give you clarity. They give you the ability to see the trap before you step in it. But here is the cost. Once you see it, you cannot unsee it. You become isolated in your knowledge. You try to explain it to people, and they look at you like you are speaking a foreign language. You realize you are alone, not physically, but intellectually, philosophically. You are operating on a different frequency. This is the price of awakening. You trade comfort for clarity. You trade belonging for sovereignty. Most people are not willing to make that trade, but you are not most people. You are here because something inside you refuses to accept the default path. Something inside you knows there is more. Something inside you is willing to suffer temporarily to win permanently. Let me tell you about the moment you realize you won. It does not happen when you hit a certain number in your bank account. It happens in a quiet moment. You are sitting somewhere and you realize, I do not need anyone anymore. You do not need your job. You could quit tomorrow. You do not need the bank. You have cash reserves. You do not need approval. You have options. This is sovereignty. This is freedom. This is what the rich feel every day and what the poor never feel. The poor are always one disaster away from collapse. The rich are always one opportunity away from doubling their wealth. The rich have options. The poor have obligations. The rich can say no. The poor have to say yes. When you have options, you move differently. You negotiate differently. Someone offers you a job for $100,000, and you can say, no, thank you. I need $150,000, or I am not interested. You can say this because you do not need the job. You have assets generating income. You are no longer desperate. You are dangerous. But let me warn you about something. When you become wealthy, people change around you. Or maybe they do not change. Maybe you just see them clearly for the first time. The people who ignored you when you were broke suddenly want to reconnect. The people who laughed at your ideas suddenly think they are great. This is the test. Do you let them back in? The rich remember. They keep a list. They remember who was there when the room was empty. They remember who helped when helping was costly. And they remember who laughed, who dismissed, who doubted. Machiavelli understood this. He wrote, men ought either to be well treated or crushed, because they can avenge themselves of lighter injuries. Of more serious ones, they cannot. You do not need to crush the people who doubted you. You just exclude them. You become polite, but distant. You become a wall of glass. They can see you, but they cannot touch you. This is not cruelty. This is boundaries. You do not owe anyone access to your life. You changed because you had to. You changed because the old you was dying slowly. You changed because you wanted more, and you were willing to sacrifice comfort to get it. Now I can feel your resistance. This is too ruthless, you think. This is too cold. That is the herd animal in you talking. That is the programming trying to pull you back to safety. Safety is death. Safety is a slow, comfortable suffocation. You will die having never lived. You will die having never built anything. The path of wealth is not for everyone. It is for the outlier. It is for the person who is willing to be misunderstood. It is for the person who is willing to be alone. Most people will watch this video and do nothing. They will feel inspired for 25 minutes. Then they will go back to scrolling. They will go back to complaining. They will go back to being broke. But you are still here. You are still listening. You are realizing that everything you were taught about money was a lie designed to keep you compliant. You are realizing that the only way out is through. You have to become the person the system fears. The person who cannot be controlled because they do not need anything from the system. If this woke you up, understand this is only what I can share publicly. There are money strategies I cannot discuss on YouTube. There are tax structures, offshore strategies, legal frameworks that if I explained in detail would get this video taken down. There are psychological techniques for negotiating, for leveraging, for dominating markets that are too dark for the algorithm. There are ways the ultra-wealthy hide money, move money, multiply money, that are perfectly legal but socially unacceptable to discuss. Those exist behind the join button. If you are serious, if you are not like the others, subscribe. But if you want the uncensored blueprint, the strategies the rich actually use, click join and enter the architect level. You will unlock exclusive content that goes where this video cannot. Most people won't. They will stay comfortable. They will stay poor. That is the point. The game is designed to filter out the weak. Are you weak, or are you ready to take what is yours?